I'm Matthias, founder of Connect AI. The last 2 years, we basically put AI, generative AI, to action for companies, and we realized two problems. Sometimes it's hard to know where to start and with what to start. So many LLMs, so many AI tools out there, and it's very hard to put it in a safe environment. I think we just feed at the moment everything out there, and then realize maybe that company data or maybe that sensitive data wasn't meant to be shared. And what we see with companies, they either way ban it or they just go for one of the big solutions like Copilot and are usually not that happy with it. So what we put together, and it came from a customer of us, they wanted a solution where they can use AI in a trust environment and have it hosted in Switzerland in a safe environment. We tried to build it first on Microsoft environment, but we weren't happy, so we built our own product. I quickly show you through it. So the idea was to give you a toolbox with a platform where you can use AI in a safe way and have access to the leading models that are out there from OpenAI, from Mistral, from Anthropic, from DeepSeek, and from Google. And where you see here, the colors show you a bit what happens with your data. Because LLMs, you have two things. So one that builds the model, and then one that hosts the model. And the host is almost more important than the one that creates it, especially in open source environments. So for example, DeepSeek, if you use the app, your data is definitely going to end in China, and it's definitely going to be used for model training and other purposes. And the model itself is great. So what we did, we used the open source model and we host it now in Finland and give you a box where to use it in a safe environment where your data doesn't get shared. We don't have access to it. And we're not a data company, so we don't train models. It's just your safe environment to use it. Long story short, depending on the task, I think for blog writing, we usually use Sonnet or GPT-4o. And for reasoning tasks, DeepSeek is amazing. So if you want to go into and ask something in the modern thinking terms. But for this case, I will show you our Swiss models. So what happens here, it's an open source model from Google, and the data is fully stored in Switzerland. It doesn't go out there, and no one has access on your box, on your input and your output data. What to use it for, what most employees use it for, maybe to write an email. I want to kickstart, right, yeah, quick, or Connect AI. Okay, so quick and simple. It just runs into it and writes. This is a smaller model, so you have to give them more prompts and instructions, otherwise it's a bit vague, but it works. And then if you want to go into next, we built this so-called assistance agents or constructors, whatever you want to call it. This one is quite simple. It's a translator, so it has just system prompting in the background, but it works good if you want to do a task that is not just translation, but you're right, it should be in purpose and everything. Last option in German, Swiss. And basically, the system prompt then does the translation. So it's not just word for word, but it's actually contextual. And as you see, it works like a charm. What is more exciting for me is what we do. Maybe two things. What we do on the background with company data. So RAG, it's called Retrieval Augmentation Generation. If you work with your own company data. And what we did here is a knowledge library, rated knowledge library for a Swiss payroll support. So if I ask, I have an employee from Spain, anything I need to know, it searches the knowledge library and gives you an answer on it. And I think this is most likely, or what we see with our customers, this is mostly needed because they have their knowledge and then they want to work with it. And what we see, explain one. What we see, especially there, is the better the performance, the more curated your knowledge is. So it doesn't just work if you plug and play your SharePoint, but you need to clean it up for the task. And then you have a quite cool environment to work with. Good. Last but not least, I maybe show you a bit what we do as a environment. So we built an assistant just to explain you our platform. I am lost. What is an LRM for? An LRM is a large reasoning model. It's the new ones. but this one we just prompted for our environment. As you see, it explains then the models we have. So DeepSeek, you host one, and this one, of course, data goes out, or it's a pure API. But yeah, that's it in a short. I think it's a great solution if you want to work with AI. And in my eyes, I believe you probably can build 80% of this massive load of AI automations out there, because in the end, it's system prompting, large language model or large reasoning model in the background. And if you're lucky, a good curated knowledge library with a RAG system behind it. And we basically give you a platform to play with it and build with it yourself and give you a safe environment, because I think that's ultimately what you need, what employees need. They want to use it, but they want to use it without having fear or the threat of losing their job or something else. And that's what we built. Super simple and easy. And we would love to put it to action with more clients from Switzerland. Thank you so much.